Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Strong Women and the Power of Humany second episode. How are you, Stephen?
I'm very well, Adriana. It's been a crazy few weeks. How you doing?
The same from here. Very, very crazy week, just waiting for holidays, but very good so far.
What's a holiday? Tell me, what's a holiday?
Oh, no, no, no. If I start talking about that, I just will miss the rest of the podcast. So let's go
Okay.
into the business.
Okay. Well, I understand we're gonna talk about the celebration of March Women's International Month and International Day. And I understand you had a really significant event celebrating Women's International Day. You want to share with us that first?
Yes, thank you very much. It is important, it's yeah, important month for me here in Mexico City. I have the opportunity to be three different events, one as a speaker, another event also as part of the panel of from with some women, and yeah, different events. Very happy, very pleased with very nice women from different sectors, different industries, and I just learned a lot about them, and I enjoy a lot this event. So very, very happy with that.
Wow, excellent.
So regarding to the this important Women Month, I have today three important questions for you because it is also, I guess, for all women to have the male perspective in so many ways. So do you want me to start with the first question?
I think I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay, so from your perspective, what does the concept of giving to gain, that this is the annual concept for the International Women Month, mean in the context of women leadership and their contribution to the society today?
No, so we're going to start with an easy question, huh? Okay, well, let me think. Um, Giving again, I think, is a great theme for International Women's Month. And to me, in the context of women's leadership, which is where I focus, I think giving means being a mentor and a coach. One of the issues I find, and correct me if you see a different perspective, but I often find, particularly in larger companies, that women don't support each other, particularly women leaders. And in fact, women leaders can be harsher to their women employees than they are to their male employees. So I think this give to gain, women should be doing more mentoring and more coaching of their female employees and teaching them the skills of leadership, not just focusing on results and getting work done, but coaching them, developing them into the future generation of leaders. So that would be giving, and that would gain not only for their organizations, but for society as a whole.
Totally agree with you. And talking about giving to gain, my first book, that the title is When a Strong Woman Speak, a Strong
Mhm.
Woman Listen. The objective about that book, it's also that how we can support each other, how we can help each other instead of, like feel that we have or we are a competition, inside any company. So definitely we should start with that, just helping and supporting one another.
I think as a leader, male or female leader, I think one of the greatest gifts we have as leaders is to help others discover their gifts and help others put those gifts to use in the workplace as well as in their personal lives. And so, again, sometimes we think about giving, we think about financial contributions, charity contributions, but really the most valuable resource we have in today's world is our time. And so if we, not only women, but men as well, would give more time to developing female leaders and the high potential female leaders in their organization, well, the organization is going to benefit, society is going to benefit, their families are going to benefit, their community is going to benefit. So I think it's a great concept, a great theme, giving to gain.
And you as a leader that you coach, of course, many women and men, why do you think it's more difficult for women to help? each other than men. Why do you think we are like that or more competitive in not the right way?
I think, in honesty, part of it has to do with women being afraid of showing favoritism to other women. And I say that because, as you know, I've spent a lot of my career living in Asia, and I saw the same thing in multinational companies that had diverse ethnic races. And, the Malaysian boss would be hesitant to show favoritism to his Malay employees instead of his Chinese employees, or same thing in other countries. So I think part of it is women are a little bit afraid, gun shy of being seen as showing favoritism. They may not be doing it intentionally, but they may do it. Whereas, funny enough, particularly in the United States anyway, men have this good old boys network, and it's okay to, particularly in the oil industry and other industries, for the males to show favoritism to their other mates, or same thing in Australia with their mates, or the good old boys. So they're not afraid of showing favoritism. So I think that's number one. Number two, I mean, leadership positions in organizations are scarce, and a woman instinctively knows that if she's in a leadership position, she's a rarity, unfortunately, but quite frankly, who wants to promote other people who might take away that rarity from you, or push you out? But I think those are things women shouldn't worry about. They should just focus on developing other female leaders, and the ship will right itself, as we say in the sailing world. We may have storms out there, but the ship will right itself. So I think women really should continue to really support each other instead of being competitive with one another.
So interesting, and definitely, something to learn and to put in practice, or to practice with our colleagues and other women. So, yeah, thank you very much for that comment. Very interesting. And going to the second question, in your experience, what are some ways women can possibly impact their communities, organization, or families through humany mindset?
Well, through human mindset, I mean, that just begins with the understanding, and I'll go back to the book that came out before human mindset, which is called Human Leadership. And the focus of that book is understanding that we lead human beings. We don't lead assets. We don't lead resources. We don't lead numbers. We lead human beings, and human beings have, pluses and minuses, and we need to understand that. We also have to understand from a human mindset concept that, look, no one, Adriana, wakes up in the morning and says, I can't wait to be managed by my boss today. And I've never, in 40 years or so of international business, have heard anybody ever say, I can't wait to be micromanaged by my boss today. And so we have to change our mindsets. And I think this goes back to one of the challenges that women have. We need to think of ourselves as leaders, not managers. And again, I think women sometimes, when they get promoted into leadership positions, and men as well, particularly in their first leadership position, think that, well, I'm the manager now, I'm the boss, I have to tell people what to do. And no, you have to go back and understand that you're leading people. You need to communicate a vision to them. You need to explain to your employees what is their value contribution, what I call clear line of value that they can show to their employees to keep them motivated. Otherwise, work just really becomes routine. And that's unfortunate.
And you know what? I have to tell you something about your book that I'm reading right now. I'm enjoying so much your book about human mindset,
Well, good.
because you give the book like so many easy examples to follow, to really be more kind, not just with women, I mean with any human being in general, and how easy it is to follow that tips or to do. And all the time I'm thinking like I have to give all my girlfriends this book, because definitely I think we really should learn, this human mind, change our human mindset, and yeah, just be more kind with each other.
It's thank you that for the compliment first off, but when we talk about leadership and again managing people is a 1980s construct, and it's no longer applicable or relevant in today's world. It's really why people leave bosses not organizations. A U.S. Navy Vice Admiral named Grace Murray Hopper, so a female U.S. Navy Vice Admiral, brilliantly said, "You manage things, you lead people." And I think that is so important. And I've extended that a little bit in my writing and in my speaking to say, you manage things, you manage processes, you manage policies, you manage procedures, but you lead people. And that's a mindset change. And when people can make that mindset change, female or male leaders, they will be much more successful as leaders of their organization.
Definitely, I'm in the same page with you. I mean, I just think we need to really change our mindset and be more kind in today's world.
Thinking about your question there also, Adriana, about, how do women can positive impact their communities and their organizations. One thing I would like to see, and I mean, this is very close to my heart, is I'd like to see more women writers, women who write about leadership and about business. And I was struck by an article I read on the platform Medium about a year ago now. A person wrote the 125 best leadership books. His choice of books, I was surprised by the dearth of women on the list. There were only 14 books written by women out of 125. So that's roughly 10%. Another 12 had women as co-authors, although of those 12, only 4 were as the lead author. So they were contributors, but they weren't the lead author. So even so, if you add those together, 14 and 12, 26 altogether, that's roughly 20 plus percent of the books were authored by women. And what really surprised me, though, in his list, that there were no female authors in the categories of sales leadership, entrepreneurship, productivity, operational efficiency, influence, negotiation, customer experience, retention, or marketing.
Wow.
So the ones that were written were a lot of IT related books, but really nothing about leading people. So I think if women want to make a contribution to their communities, to their companies, to the future generations, write a book. And if they don't know how, call me or call you. I mean, we both coach writers, so I'm more
I
than
was
happy, and I'm sure you would be as well, to coach women on how to put a book together and get it published and show people that a woman's perspective on leadership. Because right now, most of the books on leadership in business are from a male perspective.
totally agree with you, but how do you think we can motivate and inspire women? I mean, especially here for me in Mexico, I have, my community of women, it's so big. So how can I, as a writer, also inspire or motivate women to write a book?
Wow. I think one of the first things we need to communicate to women is that by publishing, but look, a book today doesn't have to be 300 pages. It can be 120, 150 pages. And, in the old days, about 20 years ago or so, if you wrote a book, it was very hard to get it published. If you tried to publish yourself, you had to print, 100 or 500 copies and put them in your garage or your spare bedroom and try and sell them that way. But you don't today with print on demand. So there's very little financial investment required up front to write and publish a book. I mean, we easily can do it for less than $3,500, $4,000 US. But I think an important thing that women need to understand, that if they have any inclination to write, that publishing a book will always enhances the writer's credibility as a thought leader. And this applies to both men and women, and it opens up, as it has for you, for speaking engagements, consulting, board positions,
Mhm.
and a greater influence in business, academia, policy. And men have used this tactic for decades, quite frankly. And it's time that women do, because women could serve as a powerful source of inspiration for
Mhm.
both, for girls and young women. And that would just affirm that leadership is an art that's available to both women and men. Yeah, it takes time, but you asked me about contribution, and that's the contribution. They're not going to make money on it. Unfortunately, very few will ever make a lot of money writing a book, but that's their contribution. That's their contribution to themselves and their contribution to the future generations.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, good advice. I will try to convince a few women here in Mexico to write a book. So, what is next?
Well, part of our podcast, we created a segment where we want to celebrate women's milestones and women's achievement. Also, we want to just talk about celebration days in general. So if you're ready, let's go through some of the milestones and achievements of women that we can celebrate over the next 10 to 14 days. And then I'll talk about some of the celebration days in general. Are you ready? We'll
Oh,
put up the
I'm more than
slides.
ready.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, March 19, the first International Women's Day celebrated by over 1 million people in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland in 1911. March 20, Kirsty Coventry elected first female president of the International Olympic Committee in 2025. March 22nd, Equal Rights Amendment passed by the United States on Congress in 1972. March 24th, Halle Berry becomes first black woman to win Best Actress Oscar in 2002. March 26, Sandra Day O'Connell, the first female U.S. Supreme Court Justice born in 1930. March 27, Maria Carey, born in 1969. U.S. Food and Drug Administration approves Viagra in 1998. March 28, Lady Gaga, born in 1986. March 30, Celine Dion, born in 1968. And then March 31st, singer-songwriter Selena, murdered by the president of her fan club in 1995.
Well, that's quite a list, Adriana. That's a lot to celebrate, and a few things, particularly with Selena, not to necessarily celebrate, but to at least remember what happened to her and what happened on that day. I'll just take the audience through some of the celebration days that are not necessarily women related, but in general. Tomorrow, March 19th, is International Clients Day. Be friendly to your clients, buy them a cup of coffee or cupcake or some bread or something, and to celebrate Clients Day tomorrow. March 20th is the International Day of Happiness. So everyone be happy on the 20th. That's on Friday, March 20th. And in April 1st, International Fun at Work Day. No, that's not an April Fool's joke. That is actually International Fun at Work Day. So have fun on that day. April 6th is dear to my heart. Part of the human mindset is random acts of kindness. And so similar to that is National Good Deeds Day. So go out and do a good deed to somebody on April the 6th. And April the 7th is World Health Day, a time for us to pause and reflect and think about our own health and the health of our communities and our neighbors and the world at large. So some celebration days coming up. So I hope you enjoy them. So before we go back to our discussion, our dialogue, Adriana, I know you brought 3 quotations from your books. Were these all from the same book or are they from different books?
They're from different books. I mean, I love quotations because I think, in my case, they inspire me so much to start my day, to start writing, sometimes to have a nice conversation with my girlfriends. So yeah, they're from different books.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the quotations in your first 3 books and really some words of wisdom from successful women throughout the ages. So I'll put the first quote on the screen. You want to share it with us?
Of course, I will start with the first one. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity, from Amelia Earhart.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And the second quote?
Some of the best days of your life haven't happened yet, from Anna Frank.
Oh, I hope that's certainly true.
And the third one, the greatest problem in the world today is intolerance. Everyone is so intolerant of each other, from Princess Diana.
Boy, that is so true. And that's one of the reasons I wrote Human Mindset as a book and the concept of treating each other with respect, peacefulness, kindness, compassion, and acceptance, because we are just so intolerant of each other in today's world. And I just, unfortunately, I think it's getting worse and worse. So we all need to step up and become more tolerant of one another.
Become more human, definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thanks, Adriana. Those are three great quotes from your books. So let's go back. I'll put us both on screen here, and let's go back to our dialogue.
Okay, Stephen. So coming back to the conversation that we had before, let's go with the third and last question for the podcast today. So, what is one action women can take today to give value to others, whatever through knowledge, support, or opportunities, and in doing so, also strengthen their own growth and leadership?
I'm going to give you two responses if I can.
Of course.
Only allowed me one. Well, I'm going to do two.
No, 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 no.
Human leadership is a way for leaders to navigate and excel in what I call the wilderness of the corporate world. So this is about becoming a leader, not being a leader, but becoming a leader. Becoming implies continuous growth. So that's the one action. Continuous growth, continuous reflection, continuous improvement, really with no end in sight. You don't ever want to reach the pinnacle of leadership. You want to keep growing, always becoming a leader. And that will allow you to tackle the five critical issues that are really a carryover from the pre-pandemic era. And those five critical issues that I consider are the mentality that some of these are soft skills. No, they're not soft skills. They're essential skills to be a successful people leader. Issue that focusing only on results is important. Well, quite frankly, if you only focus on results, you're going to drive people away. And that led to the great resignation. It's going to lead to future resignations in your organizations, and a high employee turnover is not a way to grow your business. One of the other key issues that all leaders are facing is that they're uncertain about where or how to change. And, we're just living in a world of constant change. But the more that you focus on becoming a leader and work on continuous growth and work on continuous reflection and continuous improvement, you're going to be in a better position to know where and how to change. There's also a huge gap between what employees want in their leaders and what leaders think they should be doing. And so, again, reflecting on that's going to be very important. And unfortunately, we continue to have a great deal of workplace conflict and drama and low employee engagement. And that's just simply because the leaders that we have, both male and female, are focusing on results and focusing on being managers and telling people what to do, rather than being leaders and showing them the way and getting them involved. Machines need to be productive. People need to be effective and innovative and collaborative and creative. And so the more that women leaders can focus on doing better, not more the same, the answer lies in creating workplace environments that are thriving places of connection, well-being, collaboration, and creativity. So that's one thing I think women should be doing to improve themselves and improve their organization. The second one I want to share with you, because I actually discussed this with one of the women I coach this week. She's burning the candle at both ends. And I see that as another critical issue for women in leaderships in today's world. Women have so many other responsibilities outside the workplace, and yet they bring those responsibilities back home or back in their family lives, their personal lives, and they're just burning themselves out. They're running themselves ragged. They're running from one thing to another. And yes, they're accomplishing a great deal, but at what cost? So I was talking with this lady I coach, and really, she's lost her physical exercise routine. And I said, your assignment for the next month is to get back in the gym. Get back. You enjoyed it. Get back in there, do it. But not just your physical. You need to work on your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual health. And so the other thing I have her doing now is she's going, when she leaves the office, as she drives home, she is going to stop at a park and spend 30 minutes at a park. The weather's good. She's in Northern California. The weather's nice. I said, look, just if stay in your car or get out of your car, go for a short walk, but just watch kids play. I mean, one of the greatest things you can do in life is watch children play on the playground. It'll bring a smile to your face. You know, all the worries that you have kind of
Definitely.
get put on the back burner when you see children playing on a playground, whether it's kicking a ball or running around in circles or going down the slides or whatever it is. So I said, just, stop at a park and there's one on our way home and just watch for 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you can. You'll be in a much better mood when you get home. You'll be in a, that will improve your emotional health, your mental health, and maybe even your spiritual health. So I think really women need to start taking care of themselves. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't help others. Somebody once said, you can't serve from an empty cup. If you're burning the candles at both ends as a leader or as a female leader, you're going to end up not being successful and damaging, having long-term issues. So take care of yourself first, ladies. Then you can take care of your teams and your organization.
I think with this answer, you just gave us so many things, for us to think about, homework to do, some reflections. So,
Well,
yeah, so interesting, but
I'm a,
definitely
I'm a
I'm agree
male,
with you.
Adriana. I didn't listen to your question very carefully. I just responded. You asked for one thing, and I gave you, I don't know, six or seven things, maybe. So that's just the male mindset.
Thank you. Very, very, very interesting as all that you share with us. And do you have some, I don't know, phrase, comment for the people that is listening the podcast to close the podcast today?
I do. So let me put it on screen here, and then I'll leave some final words of wisdom. And I'm sure you have one as well. So just a second. So my final words for the audience, Adriana, is I kind of referenced it earlier. Perhaps the greatest thing we can do as humans is to use our gifts and talents to help other people discover theirs. And that's whether you're in a leadership position, you're a parent, you're a sibling, whatever it is, help other people discover their gifts and talents. And what are your final thoughts, Adriana?
For me, in a reflective and inspiring way, I mean, this Women Month, may we honor how far we've become, stay committed to how far we can go, and never underestimate the impact of one brave voice. And then I can finish with this quote from Eleanor Roosevelt: "The futures belong to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." So, thank you very much for watching us in this second episode of Strong Women and the Power of Humany. Don't lose the new podcast. And on April, I'm so sure we'll have a special guest. So, see you soon.
Thank you, Adriana. It's been a pleasure talking with you. You asking all the questions and me doing all the answers. We'll have to reverse roles next time or in a future one. Everyone, once again, thank you. Be sure to follow Adriana on her YouTube channel, All About Strong Women 2026. Please subscribe to that, and also on Instagram at El Mundo de Adriana Fuentes Diaz. And for myself, you can follow my YouTube channel at Humany Mindset. And again, please subscribe to get informed when I load up new content. And on Instagram, you can find us at Humany Mindset. So thank you very much. As Adriana says, we'll be back in touch in mid-April. Everyone enjoy their holidays, their spring breaks, wherever you are around the world. Just remember that strong women and the power of humanity together is a powerful force. Thank you very much.